Dan in Swedesboro, New Jersey, listening on Sirius XM. Hey, Dan, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Tom. Well, first of all, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Really happy to be on air with you. You've been talking about empathy today, and as a public school teacher, you know, and as a language arts teacher in middle school, I'm well aware of the importance of reading books when it comes to empathy. I even looked up, I know there's a lot of research on this. I caught one really quick. Scientific American reported on the new school in New York City, finding evidence that literary fiction improves a reader's capacity to understand what others are thinking and feeling. So, you know, how do we get not just Republicans, but just Americans in general to be more empathetic?
That's brilliant, Dan. I remember, I think it might have been Robert B. Parker who told me this, although I'm not sure. I went to a number of writers' workshops back in the 70s and 80s when I started writing novels, and I did this fascinating weekend workshop at Boston University before Robert Parker's Spencer novels had really taken off. He was on his third one, and I think he'd sold like 5,000 books, and. But the comment that he made, as I recall, it was him. It might have been somebody else. It might have even been, well, in any case, the comment was that there is only one way that we can read another person's mind. If we watch other people's behavior, we can infer what they're thinking. If we watch them on television or in a movie based on their behavior, we can infer what they're thinking, or based on what they say, we can have some sense, a belief about what they feel and think. But the only way that we have in our culture to really have, you know, a solid sense of what's going on inside another person's head who we don't know is through fiction. Right. Because fiction puts you inside the mind of the viewpoint character. It's the only way to do it. Right. And what's amazing is that there are kids who are graduating from high school without ever having read a novel.
Right. I can't remember exactly what Stephen King said about it, but he talks about how it's the only pure magic, or it's the only way to actually transport from one place to another is reading a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, adult males in our society. How often do you hear about adult males in American society? Oh, the last book I read was.
Right.
You know, it's just not commonplace to get together with a bunch of guys and talk about the last book that you read. At least not in the circles that I'm running in.
Yeah, well, this is one of the areas where I think that television and electronic media in general, you know, have not served us well. That what used to be storytelling in indigenous cultures and then became the novel in literate cultures is being replaced by which all, in both cases, you know, there's actually an opportunity to identify. If I'm telling you a story and I'm telling you what I was thinking and what I was feeling and what happened next, you know, which is the classic Aboriginal way to tell stories. Or if I'm writing a novel and I'm telling you what the viewpoint character is thinking and feeling and all that kind of stuff, you're actually having that sense of empathy. But if you're simply watching it on a screen, whether it's on your iPhone or on your television, there's very little opportunity for empathy. I mean, sometimes a screenwriter can produce enough empathy that, you know, that we actually experience strong emotions, but it's damn hard to do, and it's not necessarily a genuine empathetic response. It's in more cases than not, it's shock or surprise or just sadness, something like that, but not necessarily empathy. Dan, that's a really, really important point. Thank you for taking the trouble to call and make that point. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to Sirius XM.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.